have an assortment of 3 Olympus point and shoot cameras. They are all in the Olympus Infinity line or Stylus line. This is the Olympus Infinity Mini, which has an f3.5 lens. This is the original Olympus Infinity Stylus or Stylus, depending on whether you want to read that infinity symbol. It's the Zoom. It has an f4.5 to 6.9. Its lens is 35 to 70 millimeter. I think it's 6 elements in 5 groups is the lens. I've had this camera for a very long time, as well as the Infinity Mini. This is the Olympus Stylus 80. It is actually one of the original Epics, or some people might call it the MJU I or MJ Epsilon. It is a 38 to 80 millimeter zoom lens, and it is, I believe, also starts at f4.5. Now, I believe that the Infinity Mini, and this is the camera I've had the longest. I pretty well raised my kids shooting this camera. This is probably the older one. It is, if you can read that, its parts are made in Japan, but it's assembled in Hong Kong. If you'll recall, Hong Kong went back to China in 1997, so that makes this camera older than 1997. This one is parts made in Japan, assembled in China, probably still Hong Kong. And I've shot a lot of pictures with this camera as well. I've used them sort of interchangeably. I had a silver version of the Epic as well. This one I picked up at a thrift store for $5. And this is one of the later Epics. MJU I, I guess, in other countries, but Epic in the United States. Just because it doesn't say Epic on it doesn't mean it's not Epic, as strange as that sounds. I know for a fact I have the owner's manual for this, and it is the Epic. I noticed that in the MJUs, there's even the zooms or the non-zooms. There's 2 types of flashes. There's this fixed flash on this one, which is, I believe, a later model. And then there's one that pops up, much like this flash, which is closed. But there it is. All 3 of these are great cameras. This has the arguably more desirable f3.5 lens. This is kind of a mini MJU. It is noticeably smaller, if you'll pay attention, than the original. There's a reason it's called a mini. It's slightly smaller. I believe the MJU II or III has the f2.8 lens, which makes it's fixed. This is a fixed lens on this one, but makes that lens much more desirable. Turns out, of these 3 cameras, this one is more legitimately desirable for its fixed f3.5 lens. This one, I mean, if you go on eBay, they're asking pretty pennies for these. But I believe it's because there's a lot of confusion about this, because it's an Olympus Epic. People think it's desirable point and shoot, but they're making a mistake. It does not have the f2.8 lens, and for that reason, you know, it's a great lens, don't get me wrong. It shoots sharp as a tack, but it's not good for that quick night shooting without a flash. Anyway, there are several different versions of the Olympus. This is the Olympus Stylus 80, the Epic 80, whatever you want to call it. There is also, I believe, a 115, a 140, and a 170. And I believe that's just really just how much it will zoom. It's kind of wild how that comes out. And then there's the MJU fixed lens, which I don't have. Anyway, these are just 3 of the Olympus that I just pulled out of a drawer that I have. I recently refound this one, and I'm going to probably shoot with it. It had a roll of film in it, which I'm going to have fun developing because I don't remember the last time I used it. I've got a broken battery closure here. It's chipped off. I remember that happening, but it doesn't stop it from functioning, so I'm not worried about it. These are great pocket cameras because you slip them in your pocket, close them up, and you're all set. One thing that does happen with these is they don't snap shut as tightly as they used to. So you got to watch out. Sometimes if you buy one and they're a little loose, they'll just tend to pop open and consume their battery. This one actually is pretty solid. Snaps in. You can hear it click. The other 2 don't click anymore. And this one I think also clicks open. How's that? Yeah, clicky when you open it. So they'll still function without the clickiness, but not as fun. There's a lot of point and shoots out there. I also have this Yashica, I think this is technically a T2, or maybe it's a T3. Carl Zeiss Tessar lens. Great little camera, to be honest with you. Oh, it is the T2 with a date back. Yay, extra batteries. I don't never use the date back, so I've never done anything other than take the battery out of the back. This is the Yashica. It doesn't have much to do with the Olympus, other than maybe it's good perspective for size compared to the Mini. You get the idea. This is significantly the Mini smaller, as is the Zoom here. But this is an 80s camera, like about 1985, I think. But I do like the Tessar lens on it. It shoots pretty clear. Anyway, there's your Olympus collection, and the Yashica in there, the oddball. Hope you enjoy it.